I'm Libby Gibson, Town Manager. Welcome to What's Going On in Town Government. We had a medium-sized selectmen's meeting this week. We had a couple things on the agenda, but one thing that took a lot of time, the big thing. The big thing was I'm seeing if there's anything else on there. The big thing was the presentation of a report that we engaged some consultants to do for us about alternative ways to operate the island home. So they looked at how we operate it now. They looked at other models of operation, and they reviewed costs, locations, how it would work, the logistics, and the benefits. So basically, they are recommending that the island home be constructed in a different model at the Sherburne Commons site. So there was a lot of board question about it, and there wasn't really any public input because the following day, yesterday, we had a forum with the consultants who gave the presentation again, and the public was allowed to ask any questions they wanted. It got slightly out of hand, Gino, I'm going to say,
it did.
Because there was a little bit of disrespectful comments made directly to the consultants, which was unnecessary and inappropriate. So we had to rein it back in a little bit, but there is a report online. The presentation is online, and I think the next steps would be that.
Was it filmed?
It was filmed. That okay. Thank you for mentioning the video is online as well. And I think the next step for the board is we're going to be, in all likelihood, having a special town meeting in the fall for more sewer projects. And I believe we will probably be putting something to do with Island Home on that warrant. Probably an appropriation for a new facility where the board has not made a final decision. So over the next couple of months leading up to the preparation for a special town meeting, I'm sure they're going to be talking about it, and it will be publicly posted and mentioned on our agenda. We also talked about we have developed a long-term capital financing plan. We developed it about 2 years ago, but it updates pretty regularly. And lately, people have been asking, what's the tax rate going to look like with all the projects in, including sewer, including Island Home, including all these big things we got coming down the road. So our finance director reviewed that, and we had been hearing some comments. The tax rate's going to double. The tax rate's going to triple. And nobody's going to be able to afford anything. Well, the tax rate is low. But it is going to be going up. And when I say the tax rate is low, it is somewhat offset by the very high property valuations that we have here. It's not going to double or triple, but it is going to increase significantly. And we'll get that presentation online if people want to look at it. I was thinking to myself as we were going over.
Is it going to increase no matter what?
Well, with these big projects that we're doing.
If we vote them in.
Right.
It will go up. If we don't
Correct.
vote them in,
if we
it does
don't,
not go up.
That's right.
Okay.
And not voting them in, though, has a lot of unpleasant consequences and probably means more money needs to be spent later. The sewer project, for example, regardless of what people say about deferring it, not doing it, whatever, if we don't do the sewer project soon, like within the next, get the appropriation within the next 12 months, we have the potential of losing our 0% financing. We have the potential of the state issuing us an order to do something. And that is all going to be out of our control after that. While it's in our control, we want to keep it in our control and do what we need to do. There were some letters in the paper this week about we should defer the project until we know more about some of the science. The Comprehensive Wastewater Management Plan that is recommending these projects to address pollution in the harbor and other water estuaries, water bodies, is pretty clear. Other measures are part of the overall solution. Fertilizer restriction and regulation, which, by the way, is a lot more complicated than it sounds because of constitutional and other issues. The jetties reconstruction. That's modeled to have an impact, but whether or not it really will is a different story. We don't know that. It's not even in yet.
I don't understand. What do you mean about that?
Well, there was some modeling done that if the jetties were made higher, it would increase flow and water flow and circulation in the harbor. And the modeling showed that there would be an impact on pollution, a positive impact. It would reduce the pollution because water flows around better and it flushes things out. But it's not the only thing.
But that's
And
not why they're building them higher.
that's not why they're building them higher. That's correct. We happen to have this. Luckily for us, the building it higher to a half-tide jetty was coincident with the Army Corps of Engineers needing to look at the jetty and do something with it because it's sunken down. It hasn't been really touched in 50 years or something like this.
And sea level rise is
And
rising.
sea level rise. It coincided nicely with
The whole thing.
the whole thing. So all these pieces, there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle of dealing with pollution in the harbor and the other estuaries, and they all need to be done, not just one. Just one thing is not going to do it. Just sewer is not going to do it. But just sewer would have a larger impact than all of the other things put together. But we're not planning just sewer, we're planning sewer and all these other things. So that maybe going forward into the out years of other sewer projects that are currently recommended, we could put them off. I don't know if we would not ever be able to do them, have to do them. I don't know that. It all is going to have to be dealt with as test results come in and things like that.
So the reason why you want to start, the town wants to start with the Monomoy area is because of the harbor?
Yes.
That's the.
Yep. Everything, a lot of these sewer projects eventually lead to the harbor, but the Nantucket Harbor Shimo area, formerly called Monomoy, but geographically more Shimo, is obviously right there on the harbor. So anyway, the long-term capital financing plan was, I was thinking a way to make it a little easier for people to read. It's kind of a little hard to get through. There's a lot of numbers in there, and so we're going to try to figure that out. We also had some real estate items that we took up, and I think some other smaller regulation stuff. No Board of Selectmen's meeting next week on the 30th. It's a fifth Wednesday, and the board doesn't typically meet on the fifth Wednesday, and we do not have a meeting scheduled next week. The following week, the 6th, which will be after town meeting. Let's hope town meeting's over by then.
Yeah.
I imagine it will be. Right now on our agenda, we have a review of our fiscal 15 audit. Our auditor's going to come in and review that audit year with us. DPW is going to give an update on field maintenance of the playing fields. The water company manager is going to come in and give an update on the new proposed water company building, admin building. And it's a little bit early to have, the agenda's not final yet, so I'm sure there's going to be a few more items, but our big item coming up, of course, is the annual town meeting, Saturday, April 2nd, starts at 9 a.m. And I want to really emphasize to people, parking is going to be very tight, very difficult, very tricky because of the school project. And so really try to carpool. If you can possibly walk, do that. And there is a shuttle that the Nantucket Civic League and the Inquirer and Mirror are sponsoring. 3 14-passenger vans will be running to and from the 2 Fairgrounds Road parking lot, which is behind the Plus building, every 10 minutes beginning at 8:15 till 10 a.m. on the day of town meeting. And then when town meeting is over, it will do the same thing going back every 10 minutes for 1 hour. So really try to think about that. They were talking about trying to get people registered online, but I don't know if that's worked out yet. I haven't heard. There will be lunch offered. I don't really have the details yet on that about like how much it'll cost and stuff, but there will be, I imagine, sandwiches and things in the cafeteria. And bring your warrant. You are going to be getting a warrant in the mail shortly with all of the Finance Committee motions. Please bring it. We don't have a billion extra copies because it's costly to have a billion extra copies. So we're really hoping the whole reason people get the warrant in the mail is so you bring it to town meeting. So please don't forget it. And what else? That is what's going
That's
on.
it.
We're really focused
And then the
on that
election
town
is
meeting.
when?
The election is Tuesday, April 12th, and you can vote between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. that day at the high school.
Perfect.
And that's about it. I got a lot going on today, Gino. Even though it's a Friday. I have a desk that needs to be majorly cleaned, and I have a massive email backlog that I've got to try to deal with. So
for those people out there that you have not responded to, is that what you're saying?
You're on it. What I'm getting at is, if I haven't responded to you since February, you're on my list. Really, you are. I just can't get there. This thing happens, and you know how it is.
Sure I do.
Yeah. All right. Thanks very much. See you next time.